Minglawa and welcome to Myanmar Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Michelle with the recent news and reports from around Myanmar. Bomo, Minto and David got the latest reports on public pays tribute to fallen national heroes at 73rd Myanmar Martyrs Day commemoration ceremony event. Dora Susan will give us all the details on overseas returnees and COVID-19 ongoing situation in Myanmar. Pure Theory and David have the details on Pilgrims allow visiting Kaunghmudaw Pagoda in line with healthcare guidelines. Dora Susan will have the full story on Hluttaw representative place, emphasis on CERP. All of these reports will be coming up on Myanmar Today, but for now, let's take a look at what's happening in local news. The 73rd anniversary of Martyrs Day commemorative ceremony 2020 took place at the Martyrs Mausoleum in Yangon on Sunday to pay tribute to 9 independence heroes, including General Sun. President U Win-min, patron of the Central Committee for organizing the Martyrs Day, and the Vice President U Min-sui, Speaker of Hluttaw U Di-kum-yet, Speaker of Hluttaw Man Win-kai-dan, Union Attorney General U Tun-tung-u, Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services Senior General Miao Lai, and officials paid respects to the fallen martyrs by placing wreaths. Following the ceremony and tribute, daughter of General Sun, State Councilor To Aung San Suu Kyi, and other family members of the fallen independence heroes paid tribute and laid wreaths. Yangon Region government, represented from the political parties, associations, and foreign missions in Yangon, later paid tribute to fallen heroes and laid wreaths at the mausoleum. Martyrs Day is observed on 19th of July to commemorate the 9 independence heroes who were assassinated on the 19th of July in 1947, just months before the country regained its independence on the 4th of January in 1948. This year, Martyrs Day celebration was held in line with the instructions of COVID-19 prevention of the Ministry of Health and Sports. This is the first state-level ceremony that was held during COVID-19 period. Union Minister for Health and Sport Dr. Myanmar, who is also the Secretary of the National Level Central Committee for Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19, accepted the donation to the Ministry and the National Level Central Committee in Yangon on Saturday. Firstly, the explanations of the reasons for the donations from the donors of mobile sweat vans was displayed in the video clip. Then, the chairman of Myanmar Pharmaceutical and Medical Equipment Entrepreneur Association explained the reason for the donation. The Union Minister, the Permanent Secretary, and the Director General of the Union Minister Office received the donations and give certificates of honor in return. In expressing word of thanks, the Union Minister said that preventive measures would be continued even though the country could contain the spread of the disease to a certain extent. He also mentioned that the contribution would benefit to the implementations of the prevention, containment, and treatment of COVID-19. The Ministry of Health and Sport reported 1 new case of COVID-19 found on Sunday at 8 a.m., according to the lab results of the National Health Laboratory Yangon and Public Health Laboratory Molamyai. A total of 989 lab specimens were tested and 1 new confirmed case was found. 1 new confirmed case patient is 54-year-old woman from Tongsan Township, Chin State. She has travel history to India and put into quarantine in Tidin Township and it's admitted to receive the medical treatment in Tidin Township People's Hospital. As of 8 a.m. on 19 July, there are 341 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Myanmar, with 6 deaths and 273 recoveries. The Russian Federation, Peru, South Africa, Chile, Mexico, the United Kingdom, Pakistan, and Spain include the high confirmed cases of COVID-19. Union Minister for Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement Dr. Win-myai held a meeting with officials from Rakhine State Government and departments concerned at the State Government Office in Sidri on Saturday. During the meeting, they discussed the works being implemented by the Committee for Regional Resettlement and Socio-Economic Development and Reception and Resettlement Committee in cooperation with Rakhine State Government. The meeting highlighted that it is important to cooperate in building temporary shelters and providing assistance for IDPs. Officials concerned have prepared a quarantine center and provide assistance and implemented social welfare programs in Rakhine State to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The matters related to cooperation in disaster management and rehabilitation works were also discussed at the meeting. The meeting, which was organized in accordance with COVID-19 guidelines issued by the Minister of Health and Sports, was attended by Union Minister Dr. Wimyat, Rakhine State Chief Minister U Nyipu, Deputy Minister U So-am, State Government Ministers, the Ministry's Director General and Deputy Director General, and state-level departmental officials. That's all with the local news. Now we'll move on to our first report. Myanmar commemorated the country's 73rd Martyrs' Day commemoration ceremony in tribute to General Aung San, regarded as Myanmar's independence hero who was assassinated along with the other 7 national leaders and a bodyguard. On the occasions of this year, public waited and paid tribute to the fallen national heroes near the Martyrs' Mausoleum by practicing the social distancing amid the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak. Let's have a report for more details.
Myanmar commemorated the country's 73rd Martyrs' Day commemoration ceremony in tribute to General Aung San, regarded as the Myanmar independence hero who was assassinated along with the other 7 national leaders and a bodyguard. On this day, President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, U Win Myint, and Myanmar dignitaries, including State Councillor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, who is also the daughter of the General Aung San, the Vice President U Min Sui, and family members of the martyrs went and laid wreath at the Martyrs' Mausoleum and held religious ceremonies and memorial service. People went and saluted the national heroes at the Martyrs' Mausoleum. On the occasion of this year, people waited and paid tribute to the fallen national heroes near the Martyrs' Mausoleum by practicing the social distancing amid the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak. Ma Khaing Khaing So, the resident from Yangon, spoke to MI Radio about her feelings on her participation in this commemoration ceremony of the 19th July Martyrs' Day. She said,
I've never participated in the commemoration ceremony of the Martyrs' Day in Yangon. This year I came to Yangon on my business purpose, but fortunately I have a chance to participate this Martyrs' Day. So I came to this Martyrs' Mausoleum to pay tribute to our fallen national independence heroes.
On this day, people in Myanmar paid tribute silently to the fallen national heroes, and the driver honked their horns for 1 minute at 10:37 a.m. when the martyrs were assassinated by the gunmen. Many poems and articles related to this 19th July are printed in the newspaper about the national independence hero, including General Aung San, the Khmer, Dido Ubacho, Mainpon Soba Sessanton, Mamba Khaing, Ubawin, Urazet, Uomang, and a bodyguard Ko Tui. Ko Bobotain, a taxi driver from Tuwana Tinganjon Township, spoke to MI Radio about the feeling of the Martyrs' Day.
I pay tribute to fallen leaders by honking cars honking at the time of their assassination on this July 19. This is one of the unforgettable days for all Myanmar citizens. Every year in this time, Myanmar's citizens feel sad because of those national heroes. We have regained our independence. I'm very glad for their effort.
Every year on this day, General Aung San Museum is open for the public to provide a unique glimpse to his private life. Because of the COVID-19 in this year, the museum has been closed, but people can visit the Museum of the General Aung San through the website of the National Museum Yangon.org via virtual reality or documentary video. In tribute to the national heroes, the Central Bank of Myanmar is going to print and circulate the 500 Jack currency note with the image of the General Aung San. Also on the day of independence, the Central Bank circulated the 1,000 Jack currency note with a portrait of General Aung San. Kaunghmudaw, the resident from Yangon, spoke to MI Radio about his feeling of this unforgettable day.
Today is one of the historical days for our country. We had lost our national heroes. Last year, I watched the celebration of Martyrs Day through the television and other media. But this year, I decided to pay tribute to our national heroes at the Martyrs Mausoleum. On this day, I feel very sad when I hear the sound of horns at 10:37 a.m. I have seen a lot of security guards to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by following social distancing guidelines. Our General Aung San and other fellow heroes are very precious to our country. I always feel grateful from the bottom of my heart for the sacrifice in their lives for the country.
That's a report on public pays tribute to fallen national heroes at 73rd Myanmar Martyrs Day commemoration ceremony event. Although the confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Myanmar are from the overseas returnees, and there has been no local transmissions for about a month, the government is speeding up the efforts to control the returnees, as some are illegally entering the country. The citizens are also worried about the second wave of local transmissions, as their daily life and business stricken by COVID-19 have not returned to the usual state yet.
One of the challenges for Myanmar in the battle against COVID-19 is dealing with the overseas returnees. The first confirmed cases of Myanmar were imported from the returnees coming back from foreign countries. At present, although the local transmission has not been found for about a month, there have been many citizens coming back from foreign countries, which challenge the government's effort. The government is accepting them through official border gates as well as by arranging the relief flight. To make sure that the overseas returnees are not the ones to spread the virus locally, the government is systematically and carefully putting them into quarantine once they enter the country. By the time the confirmed cases came from the overseas returnees, the case 339 caused a lot of worries about the local transmission who showed no history of going abroad or no contact with the positive patient. For that case, the Ministry of Health and Sports gave detailed explanations.
The case 339 has no history of traveling abroad, but he picked up his friend, who is illegally entering into the country from Bangladesh by boat. Both the patient and his friend were put into quarantine once they entered the village of Hluttaw Township. They were put into quarantine since 26th of June. He showed negative for the first time testing, but positive for the second time testing. His close contact persons are being traced. This case is close to the boundary of the local transmission. We call the returnees infected from other countries imported case. If local resident is infected from imported case, we call it introduced case. And if that introduced case transmits to another person, then we can define it as local transmission. This case 339 case can be defined as introduced case, but it is alerting the people to risk of the virus infection.
It is frightening to the residents in border areas due to illegally entering into the country, so that the local authorities are accelerating the effort to put everyone coming from the outside of the country into quarantine. The government also wants that anyone who enters into the country illegally and anyone who accepts the illegal returnees with the knowledge of his illegal entry will be taken action in accordance with the existing law.
Starting from Dinjan period, the official gates have been closed in our state and there are no people going through our goods transportation. If we catch the illegal returnees from the outside of the country, we firstly put them into quarantine and they will be tested as we prioritize the health safety first. And then they will be taken action in accordance with the laws.
In border areas, the Ministry of Health and Sports is speeding up the public awareness with the intention of preventing the local transmission from the imported cases.
So regardless of how they enter legally or illegally, any returnees are requested to inform us in the early stage so that we can perform necessary testing. We raised public awareness in their own local language. At China, Myanmar, and Thailand-Myanmar border gates in the eastern part, we have enforced the manpower for healthcare services. We have to pay attention to the western part, as it is quite long without local transmission. We do not want any imported cases will cause local transmission.
State Councilor Aung San Suu Kyi urged the people to protect the possible second wave, and the citizens are also afraid of another local transmission when their businesses and daily routine have not returned to the normal yet.
We have difficulties in our daily living. We are afraid of the infection, but we are going outside and working to earn money. I'm happy to hear that there is no local transmission, but on the other hand, the cases are increasing from the overseas returnees, and that causes worries for us. We haven't even returned to the normal state yet.
According to the data released by the Ministry of Health and Sports, as of 19 July, there are 341 confirmed cases in Myanmar, with 276 recoveries and 6 fatalities.
That's the report on overseas returnees and COVID-19 ongoing situations in Myanmar. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. Kaunghmudaw Pagoda has been shut down for nearly 3 months, which is just after the first positive case for COVID-19. Starting from 15th of July, Kaunghmudaw Pagoda's Board of Trustees has started allowing their worshippers from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. in accordance with the health care guidelines instructed by the Sakai Region Government and the Ministry of Health and Sports.
Yazamani Sula Kaunghmudaw Pagoda, which is a must-see stupa in Sakai, had started allowing the pilgrims since 15 July, according to the Kaunghmudaw Pagoda's Board of Trustees. Speaking to Myanmar Radio, Unite, the vice chairman of Kaunghmudaw Pagoda's Board of Trustees, said,
The people usually come and pay obeisance to the pagoda via all 4 gateways of the pagoda. Now we allow the worshippers to enter only through the front gateway and to exit only through the southern gateway. While entering the pagoda, they have to line up in 2 feet apart systematically, wearing the protections against the infection. While they are wandering the pagoda, groups with more than 5 people entering the pagoda are prohibited in accordance with the government's restrictions on public gathering. We also allow the shops on the platform of the pagoda reopen, but only 2 people per shop. The visitors and the shopkeepers can only purchase the goods from a safe distance.
Kaunghmudaw Pagoda has been shut down for nearly 3 months, which is just after the first case of COVID-19 in Myanmar. Starting from 15th of July, Kaunghmudaw Pagoda's Board of Trustees had started allowing the worshippers from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. in accordance with the healthcare guidelines instructed by the Sakai Region Government and the Ministry of Health and Sports. Ukuguchi is one of the security guards in Kaunghmudaw Pagoda, speaking to Myanmar Radio about the preventive measures, healthcare guidelines, and the public who are following these guidelines. He said,
The security guards, they have to ensure the safety of the visitors of the pagoda regarding their health, social distancing exercises, as well as their personal security. We take utmost care of the personal safety of the pilgrims during their visit of Kaunghmudaw Pagoda. The Office of Pagoda's Board of Trustees has also ordered us to contact with related medical service providers.
Speaking to Myanmar Radio, Kaunghmudaw, the Tanaka shopkeeper from Kaunghmudaw Pagoda, said,
We won't allow the people to go inside the pagoda unless they follow the health guidelines and fundamental prevention like wearing masks. We have also provided the visitors with washing basin and hand sanitizer. We also make sure to have appropriate social distancing protocol near the gateway and the interior part of the pagoda.
The pagoda, which houses the most venerated image of Buddha in the country, has been closed since early April as part of the government's cautioning measures against the potential risk of COVID-19 issues. As the first wave of COVID-19 gradually turns into recovery state, the restrictions have been slowly eased, and the most renowned pagodas in the country has been considering to reopening under cautions, health guidelines, and protection. Hluttaw Pagoda is considering reopening with the possible system of online registration, and Sule Pagoda is preparing precautionary measures and workshop for the pagoda's staffs. Even though the situation might be in a state of progression, a date has not been set for the reopening of Hluttaw Pagoda to the public. According to U Tan Sot, one of the members of Hluttaw Pagoda's Board of Trustees. On the other hand, Mandalay's famed Mahamuni Pagoda is ready to reopen after taking all the necessary precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The chair of the pagoda's Board of Trustees said, with regard to Bagan, the local government reportedly allowed the hotelier to reopen 20 hotels and 1 guest house in Baganyau, Asian Culture region in Mandalay that were once closed due to COVID-19.
That's a report on pilgrims allowed visiting Kaunghmudaw Pagoda in line with healthcare guidelines. The third day of second Hluttaw 17th regular section took place on Friday, and the Hluttaw representative discussed COVID-19 economy relief plan (CERP) with suggestions. The CERP is aimed to be implemented before the end of 2020 to meet the necessities for the economic remedies and reform amid COVID-19. On the third day of second Hluttaw 17th regular session, Hluttaw representatives had discussions about COVID-19 economic relief plan (CERP). This is the effort of the government to alleviate socio-economic impacts posed by COVID-19 and to support economic policy reform of the country, with the financial support from the union government's budget as well as international law. This CERP consists of 7 goals, 10 strategies, 36 action plans, and 76 actions, covering a wide range of fiscal measures focusing on human resources and policy responses. The Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry reported the CERP procedures to the Hluttaw, and the representatives discussed it through various perspectives. The representatives pointed out that emphasis should be placed on agriculture sector because it can ensure the food security of the country, as well as the majority of the population is relying on agriculture and livestock sector for their livelihood.
Although the purpose of CERP is good and the relief plan is effective, the loan and tax realization are not that enough. Moreover, there is weakness in the focus on agriculture as well as protecting the farmers and the workers of farming. The whole budget is not enough for the full recovery of the economy, so that the fund needs to be raised. Agriculture is the main economy of the country, so it is necessary to support the agriculture in detailed and rapid ways.
70% of population involved in agriculture and livestock sector and 85% of employment in villages are from agriculture and livestock sectors. In the CERP, it is mentioned to provide financial assistance and to give advice on a boost in productivity and market connectivity for the farming. Under the CERP, to support the citizens from rural areas, cash for work project is also under implementation. It is to provide 10 million just for a village, 40% of which can be used to purchase the materials and supplies, and 60% is to be paid as wage to establish basic infrastructure in the village. The project is to be undertaken in 2,488 villages, with total labor force of 2.7 million. The village committee is to select the workers who can work for Catch for Work project.
For the exceeded amount of labor requesting for a cash for work project, the village committee has to select based on the basic standards. The prioritized workers have to be from poor family, women leading family, family of persons with disabilities, chronic diseases patients, and elders, and family with irregular income. The project has to be carried out in a transparent way, and there should be the platform for the villagers to complain any inconveniences or problems.
Moreover, the Hluttaw representatives highlighted that the CERP is designed to meet the current impasse of the country as a way of reaffirming the long-term strategy, so it also should include the long-term plans and actions.
As part of the assistance, the government provided the grassroots and people without regular income with 5 kinds of foodstuffs, and now 15,000 kyats is given for the remaining households, but this is only temporary support. We need to consider various perspectives through collaboration of ministries and governmental departments.
The CERP is to be implemented with 10% of the budget of the respective ministries as well as with international law. The plans are to be done before the end of 2020. News reported by Dora Swisen from Myanmar International Radio.
That's the report on Hluttaw representatives' place emphasis on CERP. And that's all we have for today's report, and it's time to check on some international news here on Myanmar Today. Hong Kong Special Administrative Region HKSAR has ordered most of its 180,000 civil servants to work from home from Monday, as the city registered a record high of 108 new COVID cases on Sunday. The HKSAR government has also decided to extend compulsory mask wearing to cover all public indoor areas, Chief Executive Carrie Lam said at a press briefing. The move comes as the financial hub tightened social distancing measures to battle the recent resurgence of local coronavirus infections. Lam said the government will only provide essential and emergency services, returning to the service level in February. U.S. President Donald Trump said Friday he won't consider an order at the national level mandating the use of masks, even as the United States continued to break its single-day coronavirus case record amid a pandemic far from being contained, and whether to wear masks has become a source of heated debate. The U.S. president said, quote, "I don't agree with the statement that if everyone wore a mask, everything disappeared," end quote. After Wallet pointed out the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) said the virus would be brought under control if everyone wore a mask. Trump has been refusing to wear a mask himself since the pandemic broke out. He was seen wearing a mask only once in public when visiting the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on July 11th. This comes after Dr. Tony Fauci, the national top infectious disease specialist, urged political leaders to be as forceful as possible in getting your citizenry to wear masks in numerous occasions.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he would not consider a nationwide mandate that would require people to wear masks to stop the spread of COVID-19. In a TV interview, Trump said he wants people to have, quote, a certain freedom. The U.S. president has been dismissive of face masks since the pandemic hit the U.S., until he was seen wearing one for the first time in public last Saturday. In recent weeks, a number of American officials and firms have mandated the use of masks to curb infections. The U.S. has been epicenter of the pandemic with over 3 million cases and over 100,000 deaths.
Can the novel coronavirus be transmitted from mosquito to humans? The question had been holding millions worldwide for the past 6 months, but a recent study has confirmed that mosquito cannot transmit SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, to humans. The new study of Kansas State University of the U.S. was published in the Scientific Report Journal. It offers the first conclusive experimental investigation confirming SARS-CoV-2 cannot be transmitted by mosquito, a theory which was previously supported by the World Health Organization. Study researcher Stephen Hicks said, quote, "While the World Health Organization has definitely stated that mosquito cannot transmit the virus, our study is the first to provide conclusive data supporting the theory." End quote. And that's all we have for today. And thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm your intern anchor, Michelle. Have a good day. Until next time.